The world didn't end with destruction. It ended with silence. At first, they appeared in the sky. Thin cracks, like broken glass spreading across reality itself. Scientists tried to explain it. Governments tried to hide it. But everyone knew the truth before anyone said it out loud. Something was wrong with the world. Then, the first rift opened, and everything changed. KL Vire was officially classified as ordinary. No combat trait. No awakening signal. No combat potential detected. A dead end in a world that was already dying. People around him received their rankings: fighters, defenders, hunters of the rift. KL received nothing. The examiner didn't even look at him properly. "You'll be assigned to civilian support," she said flatly. "Try not to become a liability." No one cared when he left. In this world, being forgotten was normal. But KL didn't look disappointed. He just remembered everything. That night, the city felt different. Not louder, not darker, just heavier. Like the air itself was waiting for something. KL noticed it first. People around him didn't. Then the street ahead of him slowly distorted. Not an explosion, not a sound. Just space folding inward like paper. A rift opened. And something stepped out. Not fully human. Not fully anything. It didn't rush, it didn't scream, it simply observed the world like it didn't belong to it. People panicked behind KL. But KL stayed still. Not because he was fearless. Because he was thinking. He was watching its movement. Its timing. Its breathing pattern. Like he was solving a problem no one else could see. Then, it moved. And KL moved too. The moment should have ended there. One mistake. One human gone. But KL reacted differently. Not faster, not stronger. Just, correctly. He used whatever he could find nearby. A broken metal piece from the street. Nothing special. But his movement wasn't random. It was precise. Calculated. And for the first time, the rift creature stopped. Not because it was defeated, but because something about KL's behavior didn't fit its prediction model. The system reacted instantly. System activation detected. KL froze. A transparent interface appeared only in his vision. User identified, KL Veer. Civil event confirmed. Initializing adaptive response module. KL didn't understand it. But it felt like something inside him had just been unlocked. Another rift entity emerged behind the first one. Bigger, heavier presence. The system issued a warning. Civil probability, low. Recommendation, escape. KL looked at the creature, then at the environment, then at the space between them. And instead of running, he stepped forward. The second entity attacked. The air itself reacted to its movement. KL didn't try to overpower it. He didn't try to block it. He simply moved where it wasn't ready. Every motion he made looked minimal, but every step removed him from danger. Like he already knew what was coming, the system kept updating rapidly. Analysis. User behavior undefined. Analysis. Adaptation speed above limit. The creature became unstable. Its pattern broke. KL noticed something important. It wasn't losing because he was stronger. It was losing because it couldn't understand him. And that was the first real difference. After that night, KL stopped being normal. Not in appearance, but in how reality responded to him. Rift encounters began behaving strangely around him. Some creatures avoided him completely. Others hesitated before acting. And the system stopped calling him ordinary. Variable classification updated. User status, unknown category. KL didn't celebrate. He didn't question it either. He just kept moving forward. Because now, he was being followed. They appeared without warning. 5 individuals. Not panicked, not lost. They looked trained. Controlled. One of them spoke calmly. "You are interfering with rift stability." KL tilted his head slightly. "I didn't interfere," he replied. "The rift opened near me." That answer wasn't accepted. They prepared to act. But KL was already observing them. Not their strength, their spacing, their coordination gap, their hesitation window. The moment they moved, everything broke apart. Not violently, not dramatically, just completely out of sync. The group stopped, confused. For the first time, they couldn't predict the outcome. The system interface flickered. For the first time, errors appeared. Not classifiable, reference data not found. Warning, system logic conflict. KL stared at it quietly. So even you don't understand me, he said softly. No response came. Because now, even the system was uncertain. And that meant one thing. KL was no longer part of the rules. He was becoming something the rules couldn't contain. Deep inside the largest recorded rift zone, something was watching him. Not a monster, not a creature, something that felt like the origin of everything. The system issued its final directive.
Null objective unlocked.
Identify and eliminate source of rift origin. Kyle looked ahead into the collapsing horizon of reality. No fear, no excitement, just clarity. If everything started from there, he took a step forward. Then, everything also ends there. And for the first time, the rift reacted like it recognized him. The ground didn't change randomly. It changed, with Kyle. Every time his heartbeat slowed, the world around him shifted. First, dry land. Then, endless sand. Now, cold. A frozen city stretched in every direction. Buildings were buried under ice. The air felt heavy, like breathing through glass. Kyle stood still, not confused, observing. A system message appeared. Critical, environment linked to subject neural activity. The world wasn't real. It was reacting to him. Kale looked at his own hand. A thin layer of frost formed, then disappeared. Not natural, not normal. He took one step forward. The ice beneath his feet cracked slightly, not from weight, but from pressure. Something moved in the distance. Not fast, not aggressive, just watching. Kale didn't rush. He adjusted his breathing, slower, controlled. The movement stopped. He noticed something. The environment reacted to emotion, not action. A memory surfaced, a weak one, blurry, but painful. A hospital room, dim light. A machine beeping slowly, someone lying there, unmoving. Kale blinked. The frozen city trembled, cracks spread across buildings. Warning, emotional spike detected. The memory disappeared. But the feeling remained. Heavy. Kyle exhaled. Long. Controlled. The cracks stopped spreading. He understood now. This world wasn't testing strength. It was testing control. Suddenly, the sky fractured, not like glass, more like reality bending out of shape. A new message appeared. Rina inconsistency detected. Profile. Unstable. Kyle didn't react. But his eyes focused. Images appeared around him. Not enemies. Not monsters. Memories. People running. Cities collapsing. Voices calling for help. He didn't move. Didn't interrupt. Just watched. One image stayed longer than the others. A group of people standing behind a barrier. Safe. Protected. Watching others struggle outside. Kale tilted his head slightly. Another message appeared. Option available. Return to normal human state. For the first time, Kale paused. The frozen air grew heavier. The world slowed. Normal. A simple word, but it carried weight. Another memory surfaced. Not clear, but enough. Standing outside. Looking in. Not chosen. Not protected. Kyle's fingers tightened slightly. The ice beneath him cracked again. But this time, he didn't stop it immediately. He let the feeling stay. For a moment. Then, he released it. The cracks stopped. Kyle looked up. Calm again. Normal, he said quietly. Then, he shook his head. People like that don't survive. The system responded instantly. Rejected. The environment changed again, faster this time. The frozen city melted away, replaced by something else. Water. Endless. Dark. KL stood on a small surface. Floating. The ocean around him wasn't moving naturally. It pulsed. Like a living thing. His heartbeat increased slightly. The waves responded. He slowed it again. The ocean calmed. Now he was certain. Everything here was connected to him. Then, something rose from the water. Not a creature. Not fully. A shape. incomplete, like reality trying to form something but failing. KL watched it carefully. It didn't attack, didn't move forward. Instead, it copied him. Same posture, same stillness. KL shifted his weight slightly. The shape did the same, a reflection, but not exact, a delay. Small, but noticeable. KL stepped forward. The surface beneath him didn't sink. The reflection followed, but slower. KL stopped. Then suddenly, he moved faster. The reflection failed to keep up. Its form broke slightly. KL noticed. A weakness. He didn't attack, didn't rush. He just kept moving unpredictably, changing rhythm, changing pace. The reflection started breaking apart, not destroyed, unstable. A new message appeared. Critical synchronization failure, pattern unreadable. The shape collapsed into the water. Gone. KL stood still again. No reaction, no celebration, just observation. Then, the ocean disappeared. Everything went dark. No ground, no sky, just silence. For a moment, nothing existed. Then, a presence. Not visible, not physical, but overwhelming. Another message appeared. Entity detected, origin layer, status, non-compliant system element. KL looked forward. This wasn't a test anymore. This was something else. The presence didn't speak, didn't explain. But images formed again. Civilizations rising. Then collapsing. Groups that ran, disappeared. Groups that adapted, changed. Not stronger, different. KL watched everything. No emotion on his face, just understanding. Slowly, the presence focused on him. Not judging, not threatening. Analyzing. Another message appeared. Evaluation, subject does not follow standard evolution path. Pacification update required. KL didn't move. But his grip tightened slightly. Not fear, preparation. Then the final message appeared. No longer qualifies AS participant. Reclassified AS. Anomalous variable. A pause. Then, potential risk, reality instability. The darkness around him trembled. Not because of fear, because something couldn't define him. KL took one step forward. The space around him distorted. For the first time, the system didn't respond immediately. A delay. Small, but real. KL noticed. And for the first time, a faint expression appeared on his face. Not emotion. Understanding. So even this place, he said quietly, doesn't know what I am. Silence answered him. But it wasn't empty anymore. It was uncertain. And that uncertainty was far more dangerous than any monster. To be continued.